103.5 FM immediately after Angelus, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonadi FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that if we are hoping for a new Nigeria,
you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/gistfm.
Good evening and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM news update today, Monday, the 6th day of February 2023. And the time is a minute past the hour of 6. Martin Ifan Shuku Ekezie is my name. The headlines. Anambra recorded 119 fire outbreaks in 2022. Imo government slams PDP over vote buying allegation. Omoagege promises to address Asaba housing deficit. Community bank boss escapes from abductors in Anambra. Ibazu's ex-chief of staff emerges Abia PDP Guba candidate. US shoots down China balloon. Now, details. Anambra recorded 119 fire outbreaks in 2022. Anambra State Fire Service said a total of 119 fire outbreaks were recorded in the state in 2022. Fire Chief Engineer Martin Abiri disclosed this in a statement, saying fire incidents in the state could be reduced to nearest minimum with support of residents. He described as satisfactory firefighters' efficient discharge of duties amidst criticisms, stressing that such negative notion would not deter his men from carrying out their mandate. He said, "We have discharged our duties efficiently and satisfactorily, up to 90%, notwithstanding the negligible 10%. This is a huge success. Sometimes I become surprised why some people judge us with that 10% and forgetting the 90% successful firefighting operations. Anyway, the attitude does not stop us from doing and giving our best out there. Anambra State firefighters are trying, and we need the support of everyone to achieve more so as to reduce fire outbreak to the nearest minimal. And for a safer Anambra, every one of us in Anambra State has a role to play in the mitigation measures. You need to adhere to fire safety rules so as to save your properties, your life, and the lives of people around you, while reassuring the institution's willingness to discharge its duties for better and safer state." Agbiri pledged deployment of more strategies to safeguard the state with full support of Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Imo government slams PDP over vote buying allegation. The Imo state government has debunked an allegation of vote buying leveled against it by the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) ahead of the forthcoming general elections. The state government, in a statement on Saturday by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Honorable Declan Emelumba, averred that the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) is only displaying the gaps of a drowning man, desperate to drag everyone to his doom, adding that the party is fragmented beyond redemption. In the real sense of it, PDP in Imo State actually wants to derail this election because it is consumed by internal crisis, which has made it impossible for it to win the election, he said. He noted that not too long ago, the same PDP lamented that it can no longer campaign because of insecurity, and now it is talking of vote buying. It is now obvious that the PDP is not ready for the election, hence it is a crying wolf. Currently, they don't even have candidates in some constituencies, including that of Emeke Ihedioha, because of factionalization. Instead of addressing their self-inflicted problem, they are busy accusing the state government of all manner of plots, he stated. Emelumba said the National Secretary of the state, Senator Samuel Anyang, was absent a few days ago when the PDP went on a campaign in his home local government of Ikeduru. What does that tell you? The party is in disarray. And seeing that they cannot defeat the APC, they have resorted to blackmail and wiping up sentiments against the state government. but that is to be expected of a drowning man, gasping for breath and desperate to drag everyone around him to the sea. Emerumba submitted. He noted that the PDP was delusional by saying that the APC is unfit to face the electorate, or when in actual fact, the APC had roundly defeated the PDP and won all by-elections conducted in the state since it assumed office in 2020. He said it was actually the PDP that is unfit for the election and should therefore surrender to the APC since it cannot even put its house in order. At any rate, the PDP cannot speak on behalf of the Imo electorate, which had severally rejected them. Unlike the PDP, the APC has its achievements as validation of its acceptance in the state, he said. Emelumba said he was not in doubt that APC will roundly defeat the PDP in the upcoming elections and advised the fragmented party to withdraw from the race and prepare for its inevitable disintegration. Omo Agege promises to address Asaba housing deficit. The Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovie Omo Agege, has promised to address the alarming housing accommodation in Asaba and its environs within his first 2 years when elected governor of Delta State. Omo Agege, the governorship candidate of All Progressive Congress APC, said if elected, he would not only complete all uncompleted housing projects for civil servants in the state, but would construct more housing estates to be allocated to the workers. He made the pledge during the word-to-word campaign rally of Delta APC in Ward 9 of Oshimili South Local Government Area, Delta State, Friday. During the rally, the governorship candidate noted that the measure would drastically crash the prices for house rent in Asaba and environs, which have skyrocketed in recent times, while pledging to offset all pensioners' arrears within his first 6 months in office as governor of Delta State. Omo Agege assured civil servants that all their promotional arrears would be promptly paid. According to him, civil servants are the bedrock of any government. Without them, the government cannot work effectively. He reassured the people of Oshimili and other parts of Delta North that, contrary to the campaign of calumny being peddled by the PDP, he would be fair, just, and equitable in the distribution of development projects across the state. All senatorial districts will get what is due to them. I am committing to funding and complete any uncompleted project in Delta North, if there is any. Asaba, as a state capital, will wear a new look. It is a civil servant's town, so it should look like it. I want to restate that given the amount of money that has come to the school, which is about 4.3 trillion naira, what is on the ground is not commensurate to it. On education, Omo Agege promised to review the high cost of fees the state tertiary institutions, which the incumbent government have been charging. He reassured them that there would be hope for students to get employed after graduating because he would create enabling environment for investors to thrive, thereby creating jobs for youths. He said he will also pledge to address the issue of insecurity in order to attract external investors as well as bring back companies for businesses scared away from the state due to insecurity. Community Bank boss escapes from abductors in Anambra. The chief executive officer, CEO of Idemmili Community Bank, Osalo, Eme, who was Friday night abducted by hoodlums, have escaped from his abductors. Eme was reportedly abducted at his Nnobi country home when he was returning from Nnobi Junction, where he went to purchase some food items. According to Eme, the hoodlums also abducted 2 other persons along the road, among who was a woman, as they drove to a place called Uruala in Imo State. I went to the Nnobi Junction to buy some food items. I found I was short of money, so I decided to go back. I left home at 8:23 p.m. The incident happened about 9 p.m. when I was returning from the junction, right in front of my gate, MS said. Sources said the hoodlums came with 2 jeeps and fired shots into the air to scare people away when they reached the community bank boss, Ababa house at Omaha, Awuda, Nnobi. On Friday night, there were 5 men in number. I was about to alight from my vehicle when they rushed at my car. I alighted and beat them, then struggled and freed myself from their grip. I ran but fell into a ditch. It was then that they got me and tied me with a rope. Then they bundled me into one of their cars. They shot the tire and broke the windscreen of my Jeep, he stated. On how he was treated and later escaped, MS said the abductors, who had 2 pump-action rifles, beat him, hit the nozzles of their guns on his legs, why they forced him to unlock his phone to transfer money into their account. I refused to unlock the phone. I had two phones. They continued to hit me with the guns. When they reached Uruala, they turned back to drop the woman at Akopa. They tried to shoot me, but the gun could not fire. They said I have Uboni in me. I said, whatever it is, let it be. The woman had transferred the money in her account into theirs. It was later that I knew that the place was Akopa. So as they stopped and went to drop the woman, one thing led to the other, and I jumped out of the vehicle. They shot at me, but they could not get me. I ran as far as my legs could carry me. Then I heard some voices in front. I followed the voices. It was the voices of choristers doing night vigil in a church. So I went inside the church and did night vigil with them. It was there I knew I was in Akopa. I came back this morning, he stated. Emewu had bruises all over his hands and legs, told newsmen that his people lodged a report at the Nobi police station, adding that he would also make another report at the Nobi police station and at the police headquarters in Oka. When contacted earlier before seeing the victim, the PPRO Ikenga, who said he had not gotten the report yet. Ibazu's ex-chief of staff emerges Abia PDP Guba candidate. The immediate past chief of staff to the Abia state governor, Okeze Ibazu, Mr. Oke Ahaiwe, has emerged as the new governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for the March 11, 2023 poll. He polled 469 votes against 12 polled by the second runner-ups in the primary election. A total of 8 aspirants are reported at the Umuahia Township Stadium to participate in the gubernatorial primary to replace the late candidate, Professor Eliasa Uchenna Ikonne, who died on Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. The primary tagged Special Congress conducted by the PDP Leadership Consulted Committee led by the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki was observed by the state INEC officials and the National Voter Education and Publicity Commissioner, Mr. Festus Okoye. The aspirants include the Deputy Governor, Dr. Ude Oko Shuku, Senator Emma Waka, Samson Oji, all from Abia State Senatorial Zone origin, and Lucky Igbokwe, Abia Central Zone. Others who are from Isialangwa North Local Council, where the state PDP rezoned the office to are Eric Opa, Bob Ogu, Ahaiwe, and Lady Ezinwani Jonah. Before the voting commenced, while they took turn to address about 600 delegates, 3 of the 4 aspirants from Isialangwa North stepped down for their kingsman, Ahaiwe. Despite their withdrawal, the delegates were directed to vote for the candidate of their choice among the 8 aspirants. At the end of voting, in which 516 votes were cast, Governor Obaseki announced that Ahaiwe pulled 469, Chukwu and Ibukwe 12 votes each, Oji 11, and while 12 votes were declared invalid. Speaking at his victory, Ahaiwe commended the PDP for electing the new Guba candidate through consensus and thanked the delegates and the party leaders for consulting widely in the state before deciding that the Guba candidate should return to Isialangwa North. Let's go. Now we move over to the foreign scene. U.S. shoots down China balloon. The U.S. shot down a Chinese spy balloon on Saturday that had spent the last week traversing the country, an explosive end to a drama that put a diplomatic crisis between the world's 2 great powers onto television screens in real time. The balloon, which spent 5 days traveling in a diagonal southeast route from Idaho to the Carolines, had moved off the coast by midday Saturday and was shot down within moments of its arrival over the Atlantic Ocean. I told them to shoot it down, President Joe Biden told reporters in Hagerstown, Maryland, on Saturday afternoon. They said to me, let's wait until the safest place to do it. That time and place came at 2:39 p.m., Pentagon officials said, some 10 kilometers off the coast of South Carolina. The Federal Aviation Administration had paused departures and arrivals at airports in Wilmington, North Carolina, and in Myrtle Beach and Charleston in South Carolina, and one of the 2 F-22 fighter jets from Langley Air Force Base fired a Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. Downing the balloon, which was flying at an altitude of 60,000 to 65,000 feet. The F-22s were at 58,000 feet with other American fighters in support. The Pentagon said that Navy and Coast Guard personnel would conduct a recovery effort to retrieve the debris of the balloon, which had landed in relatively shallow water. American National Security Agency so the material they collected will add value to their database of Chinese intelligence gathering. The Chinese foreign minister declared his strong discontent and protest about the U.S. downing of the balloon. In a statement, the ministry said China had told Washington repeatedly that the balloon was a civilian aircraft that had inadvertently flown over the U.S. and its presence was totally accidental. In these circumstances, for the United States to insist on using armed force is clearly an excessive reaction that seriously violates international convention, the statement said. China will resolutely defend the legitimate rights and interests of the enterprise involved and retains the right to respond further. But the arrival and extended stay of the balloon over American territory prompted furious calls from senior U.S. officials to their Chinese counterparts, criticisms from Republican lawmakers of the White House response, and on Friday, the cancellation of a visit to China by Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken. It would have been the first trip by a Biden cabinet secretary to Beijing. In announcing the cancellation of his trip, Blinken said the entry of the spy balloon was a clear violation of U.S. sovereignty and international law. U.S. officials convened to Chinese officials several times in recent days that the U.S. military might shoot down the spy balloon. Blinken told a Chinese diplomat in Washington on Wednesday evening that the American government had the right to take any action to protect its interests, and he said the same thing on a phone call on Friday with Wang Yi, the top Chinese foreign policy official. A senior administration official said. This is where we draw the curtains on news updates on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Anambra recorded 119 fire outbreaks in 2022. Imo government slams PDP over vote buying allegation. Omoagege promises to address Asaba housing deficit. Community bank boss escapes from abductors in Anambra. Ibazo's ex-chief of staff emerges Abia PDP Guba candidate. US shoots down China balloon. You just listened to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifeanyi Ikizie. Thank you for listening. Once again, good evening.
Listen to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM immediately after Angeles, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebona FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that if we are hoping for a new Nigeria,
You can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM. Man is a political animal.